Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here with my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. They're going to go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale today. Today though, some of the big releases that come out is Queen and Slim, as well as Dark Waters. Also though, Pixar is releasing a whole bunch of films for the first time on 4K. I know some of the ones that are coming out is Up, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, Bugs Life, and Wall-E. I believe those are the ones that are coming out. And then Best Buy has exclusive steelbooks of those ones. Sometimes those steelbooks go really, really fast, so definitely interested in seeing if they have any of those ones left. Also though, since it's the first Tuesday of the month, Walmart, changes out the actual section, so hopefully I don't have to go to like tons of locations to see all the stuff out, but should be a bunch of new indie horror films, comedies, all that kind of stuff. Also though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. So definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And as always too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I picked up. If you guys have seen any of them, what you guys thought. Also, if you guys plan on picking any of them up as well. But anyway though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. And I also want to let you guys know I just joined the cast of an upcoming horror film called Massacre Academy, which is directed by Mark Cantu, and it's like an 80s style throwback slasher film. And on there now though, I have a link below for the Indiegogo for the film. They just added up on there a DVD perk of the film, so you guys can pre-order a copy of Massacre Academy, before it releases, and it'll be a signed copy that I'll sign. Also though, on this link below as well, there's like a secret perk on there, and it's a perk on there where you guys can actually act in the film with me in one of the scenes that I'll be in. And the movie's shooting out in the Pittsburgh area, so that's where it is, and you guys can contact the director. I'll have a link below too for his Facebook page if you guys have any questions or anything like that. But it'll be shooting later this year in the Pittsburgh area, and it also with that perk includes the acting perk, as well as the DVD copies included with that one as well. But anyway though, like I said, check out the link below and you guys can find out more about it, and thanks again for all the support. But in here in the front though, it's all the same stuff from last week. Like, I don't know if they're gonna change this out or not, or maybe they just didn't get to yet. That's the one thing, is sometimes this location doesn't change all the stuff out. I don't think though there's any exclusives today, so I probably won't go to another one if they don't have it out, because I don't believe there's anything exclusive in here. But they still have some of the Frozen 2 4Ks here from last week left. But all the other stuff here is from last week. Let's just check here on the side and see if there's anything else different here. But hopefully in the section though, they have changed everything out. But no, everything's the same over there, and like I said, they still have some of the, actually quite a few of the Frozen exclusives left in here. But we'll head over to the actual section though and see if they have anything different over there though. But in there though, in the actual section though, they did have some stuff out new. They had Queen and Slim there on Blu-ray, and that one was $24.99. They also had Titans, the complete second season on Blu-ray for $24.99 as well. There's also a DVD of that one. The other thing that they had was the Playmobil movie, which released today, and that one was $16.99 on DVD. I don't believe there's a Blu-ray release of that one. I didn't see though any of the new Pixar 4K ones in there, so I'm not sure if they're going to have them or they just didn't put them out. I also didn't see Dark Waters in there as well. Into Walmart we go. But like I was saying though, hopefully they have out all the new stuff, because if you guys remember the start of last month when I went to Walmart looking for like the new stuff when they changed it out, I went to like 6 stores to try and see other stuff. I was mainly going to see Restricted Area, the film that me and Danny were in, because it took me forever to find one in stores, one that had put them out. But fingers crossed today though that they have out all the new stuff, but we'll see though. Well, I peeked over in the section and there is some things out, but definitely not everything, because there's a lot of empty spaces, so I'm definitely going to have to head to another location. It's funny, this Knives Out here has no slipcover with it. But in here though, some of the new stuff in here today that they do have out is this one, Neza, this one here, Choose Your Destiny, and then the, I think there was a 4K of that. I'm not sure if they're going to have that, but that's $16.99 for the Blu-ray DVD combo, and then $12.99 for the DVD of that one. Other than that though, they have Queen and Slim here as well, and that one's $22.99 for the Blu-ray, $17.99 for the DVD of that one. And then over here though, there are some empty spots here, so like Underdog or something there. I don't know what that is. But like I said, we're heading to another location too to hopefully they'll have all the other stuff out. But they do have Dark Waters here, and that one is $22.96 for that one, for the Blu-ray DVD combo, and then $17.96 for the DVD of that. Other than that, here in the front, like I said, there is a bunch of empty spots, especially when you come over here. Like even the whole section is kind of all like a lot of empty spots, but over here, see, like all this is empty here, and this is where I feel like usually they put the 4Ks over here, so I feel like the the new Pixar ones would be over here if they have them. I feel like they usually in the past, I remember they have gotten them, but other than that though, some of the new things in here, it's all kind of spread throughout. See, it's like real random. Like, see, Titans complete second season on DVD is right here for 1996, and then let's see anything else new in here. One of the other ones that was new, see if there's anything new in this vicinity here. They still do have a restricted area here, so that's cool. That one's 996. Let's see right here. Let's see anything else new in here. I did see a couple ones in here, but as you see, there's a lot of empty space, especially like all in here. Woman on the Edge, Girl in the Mirror, The Warrant, Cupid there, Her Only Choice, First Impressions, yes, you'll see a lot of them. Don't Let Them In, Furies, yes, a lot of stuff. Malevolent, I don't know which one that is. Marshall, let's see, The Clinic, Two Graves. A lot of these ones I'm going to have reviews of at the end of this video, but some of the new ones that they do have out is this one, Radioflash, as well as the Sonata, which I'll be talking about this at the end as well. Let's see. And then this is one of the other ones, which if I can find the Blu-ray anywhere, I'm definitely going to get this. Hopefully, Best Buy will have this one on Blu-ray. And this is this movie looks kind of interesting. Christina Klebb is in this movie, as well as Bill Moseley. But hopefully, I can find the Blu-ray of that one. But other than that, though, I don't think there's any other new ones in here. But like I said, look at how much empty space there is in here. It's like, so yeah, we're definitely going to head to another location, and hopefully that one has all the stuff out, because there's like two options of ones that I could look at, so hopefully one of them has out all the stuff. But I think actually before I go to the other Walmart, I'm going to shake things up and go to Best Buy first, because when I was looking on their website, like the store locator thing, it looks like they have a Blu-ray copy of that I Am Fear one, which like hopefully sometimes like they don't have the stuff out, so hopefully they do. Also, it looks like they have one of the Steelbooks left for WALL-E, as well as the standard 4K for WALL-E, so I definitely want to see those over there, and I think I might get WALL-E, either the Steelbook or the standard 4K of that one. But like I said, I want to head there first. Why, it looks like they still have it though, so fingers crossed they're still there. Into Best Buy we go. Yeah, but in here though, on the front though, they have Queen and Slim here for $22.99 for the Blu-ray DVD combo, $27.99 for the 4K of that one, and then Dark Waters here is $22.99. But they do have the Steelbooks here. Like I was saying, there's Monsters Inc., the 4K one. All these ones are $34.99. Monsters Inc., and then Monsters University here for $34.99 as well. Bugs Life. This is the one that I haven't seen in the longest. Like I probably haven't seen this one since this first released on DVD, and I remember really liking this one when this first came out. And then WALL-E here, which is I would say is probably my favorite of all the Pixar movies like ever, and that one is $34.99 for that one, and then Up here is $34.99 as well. But we'll look though on the other side too to see. I feel like the I Am Fear one, if they have that, will be in the actual section. But let's see other things that they have here. They do have Two Graves in the Desert, and I'll be talking about this one at the end of this video here, and this one is $11.99 for the Blu-ray of that one. But over here though, in the actual section though, they do have the standard edition ones. So like Up here is $29.99, WALL-E, Monsters Inc., and Monsters University, and then Bugs Life is $29.99 as well. Like I said, I had not seen this one in such a long time. Also though, they have Titans here, the complete second season here for $22.99, and they do have this one I wanted to get, I Am Fear, and that one is $14.99 here on Blu-ray, and then Radioflash, that one is $14.99 as well. I don't see any copies of that Playmobil one here though. Yeah, but in there though, I ended up getting that I Am Fear one. Like I said, they had the Blu-ray of that one, and Walmart seemed to only have the DVD. And I did get the WALL-E 4K Steelbook. I don't get lots and lots of Steelbooks, but this is one of those movies. I don't think I have bought this one since the original release on Blu-ray years back. And like I said, out of all the Pixar movies I've seen, I feel like this is like, in my opinion, like my all-time favorite. Everything about this movie, the music, the story, and everything. So this is definitely one I wanted to pick up though on 4K though. And this past weekend, I saw a couple of different films in theaters. The first one I saw was the Impractical Jokers movie, and Impractical Jokers, though, the show, I actually in the beginning when that show started, I watched that one like all the time. Like that was one of those things like I always was watching. I haven't actually seen like new episodes of it in quite a while now, though. But this is basically though with the Impractical Jokers, and it's done as like a road movie, because in the beginning it's as a flashback, because the movie's done where it's kind of like real footage, like stuff that they filmed, like to be like a movie, and then it will cut to their skits and stuff like that. But essentially in the beginning of the movie, when they were in high school, they were friends since high school, and when they were graduating, they went to this Paula Abdul concert and pretended to be security, and things fell apart there, and then it cut to now, years later, and they were like, in a restaurant eating, and they see Paula Abdul, and she doesn't remember what had happened, but she's like a fan of their show, and she's like, oh, I have this big concert in Miami, you want to go to it? So they're like, oh, okay, and they're like kind of happy that she doesn't remember, and it's basically them going on a road trip, getting there, and then like, as the road trip goes along, that cuts to like different areas with them with like skits and that kind of stuff. I actually thought it was a fun movie. Like I like the way that they put it together. I definitely, like, if you guys are a fan of the show, would recommend checking it out. And the other one that I saw was The Invisible Man. It stars Elizabeth Moss and was directed by Lee Wanhel. I never know how to say his name for sure, but he was the writer on Saw, as well as the Insidious films, and directed a movie a couple of years back called Upgrade, which I really liked that movie a lot. And this one though was a remake of The Invisible Man, but it's like totally different story-wise and everything. It's Elizabeth Moss's character, who has this like terrible abusive boyfriend who's like this real rich guy. In the beginning of the movie, you see her sneaking away to get away from him, and and you find out more as it goes along about what was going on with him. But essentially, though, right when she gets away and she ends up, kind of hiding out with her friend at his house, she finds out that her boyfriend, killed himself. And but right when he was said to have killed himself, weird things start going on in like her house and stuff, and you see things starting to move, and like bed sheets you see like on the ground, like someone standing on them, and it's kind of like it's the Invisible Man, so something is going on here. But I actually like the whole take on it, the way changed it around, and it's one of those movies too that's like some actually really creepy stuff goes on. There was one really effective thing in the movie too, like they kind of caught me off guard the way that they did it. But I would definitely recommend you guys check it out. But if you guys got to see either of those films this past weekend, let me know what you guys thought, or what you guys saw this past weekend, if you guys got to see anything. Into the second Walmart we go. But fingers crossed, hopefully they have this stuff in here. We'll see though. Hopefully they do. But luckily enough, I peeked over here and it looks like they have all the new stuff out. So let's see some of the stuff they have in here. They have Titans, the complete second season here on DVD for $19.96. And they do have this movie here, Cupid. And this is from the, directed by Scott Jeffrey. And I've, done, like, acted in some of his projects that he's done in the past, like Tooth Fairy and stuff like that. I've done, like, little cameos in that, in his films. And this is one I definitely want to pick up. And this one is $9.96 for that one. Let's see some of the other new ones in here. Like they had this in the other Walmart, and it's I Am Fear, and so I just picked up the Blu-ray of that, and that's on $9.96 for that one. They have Two Graves in the Desert, and that one's on $9.96. This one called The Lost Patrol for $9.96. I talked about this one last week on The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. I thought this was actually a decent movie. I was really glad to see Nick Stahl in a new movie, because I hadn't seen him in a new film in a really long time. And Mina Savarni, I thought she did a really great job in the film. Other than that, though, this one here on Marshall, this one released for $9.96. Over the Moon, In Love, that one released, as well as a Radioflash, which I've not seen this one. If you guys have seen this, let me know how this one was. And this one came out today called The Furies. And I really like this one a lot. I'm going to talk about this one at the end of this video. This is $9.96 as well. But this one is one I would highly recommend you guys pick up. Really like that one a lot. This other one, The Malevolent Queen. This one released today. Let's see some of the other ones. It's always hard to get them back. It's like really tough to squeeze them back in there. The Warrant, I believe this was today for $9.96. Rumor Willis' new film here, A Woman on the Edge. This one was today for $9.96, as well as Girl in the Mirror. And there are a couple empty spots here, like Her Only Child, First Impressions. They also have Don't Let Them In, so I'll be talking about this at the end of this video. This one released today, and this one is $9.96 as well. Also, they have the Sonata, which is, I believe this is Rutger Hauer's last film, and we talk about this as well at the end, as well as the film The Clinic. Let's see any other different ones in here. This one may have been today, this one called The Corrupted. But other than that, though, I'm trying to see if there's anything else mixed in here that I may be missing. Doesn't look like it. I believe that's all the main different things I see. And I looked in the front area, too, and I didn't see anything else different, though, in the front. Yeah, so in there, though, I ended up picking up Cupid there, and I was really glad, though, too, that they put out all the stuff, and I didn't have to go to, like, lots and lots of locations like last week. Like, last week I had to go, like I said, to 6 of them, and they still did have, you know, restricted area in there as well, so it looks like they're going to carry that over into, you know, this month, so that's really cool. But like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, let me know, you know, what you guys picked up today, if you guys picked up anything on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, or any of the, you know, Pixar exclusives, because there's a lot of cool stuff that came out today. Also as well, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed at the end of this video. If you guys have seen them, what you guys thought of them. But anyway though, guys, now stay tuned for the brand new reviews. But before we get to the reviews, Paramount sent over the brand new 10 Commandments set here on Blu-ray. This one releases next Tuesday, and this one has the 1923 film as well as a 1956 film. I'm just going to show you guys a little look at this one here. And when you take this one off here, here's a look at the back. You take the thing that says the features and all that kind of stuff, and in here it's a 3-disc set which has the you know, the 1956 film, as well as, like I was saying, the 1923 film as well. And here's a look inside. It's like it has a like a booklet in here which has some stuff about the film, has stills and stuff about the production, all that kind of stuff here. So a really, really cool release for the film here. And like I said, just want to let you guys know that this one was available from Paramount, and this one will be out next Tuesday on Blu-ray. And the first one I got here is from Shout Factory, and this is from the Shout Select line. It's a movie here called Mask and Anonymous. This is one I had never seen before and has a really great cast. It has Jeff Bridges, Penelope Cruz, Bob Dylan, John Goodman, Jessica Lange, Luke Wilson. Also, there's like cameos in here with like Kristen Slater, Chris Penn, a bunch of other cameos as well throughout this movie. But it's essentially, though, it's like It's a movie from 2003. Like I said, I had never seen this one, never actually even heard of this movie. And it's basically, though, set like in the future where like everything in society is kind of falling apart. There's kind of like wars outside, all sorts of problems. Everything is kind of a big mess. And John Goodman's character, he works as like this like producer, producing this kind of like reality kind of TV show, performance show. And Jessica Lange works with him as his boss, and they're kind of working to try and put together this big concert, and they're going to be bringing in Bob Dylan's character, and he's going to be coming in to like perform there. And they're like at the network are all like, oh well, his character, like that's the biggest person you could get, and like he's like trying to make it be so, oh, this is going to be a really big show, it's going to be a big thing, it's going to bring more people to the network. And it's basically, though, connects though to these other characters as well that have a connection to John Goodman's character, and it's just sort of like this ensemble piece film with all sorts of problems and like lots of, like I said, lots of different cameos in this movie. On here, though, it has a brand new interview in here with Larry Charles, and Larry Charles was behind, you know, wrote a number of episodes of and directed as well episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I believe he directed or wrote or produced Borat. So he was like did a lot of stuff with Sacha Baron Cohen, like I said, Borat. And it has a brand new interview on here with Larry Charles, commentary track with Larry Charles, deleted scenes, the making of Mask Anonymous, as well as a theatrical trailer in this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate, and this one gets a top recommendation. This is, honestly, I would say, in 2019, this would be my pick for my all-time favorite movie of the year for 2019. I honestly absolutely love this movie. It's from the Safdie brothers, who also directed Good Time, which if you guys have not seen Good Time starring Robert Pattinson, that's like an absolute must-watch as well. And this is the film starring Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems. And I really love the slipcover on this one because it has like a silver kind of shine to Uncut Gems. I don't know, I really love the way this is designed. And this is also an A24 film, but like I said, if this is one of those movies, it's like an absolute must watch. And this is basically, though, about Adam Sandler playing, a really dramatic role. And he's done that in the past with things like Punch Drunk Love, and Spanglish was more of a drama, and a couple other ones as well. But I feel like this, out of all the performances that Adam Sandler has done for, doing dramatic roles, I think this is probably his absolute best. Like, he was so good in this film. But I've been a fan of him forever, ever since, like, the days of Billy Madison. I don't know, I've loved everything he's done, honestly. But this is basically, though, about his character, and he's like this jeweler in New York City, and in the diamond district, and he does, like, diamonds and jewels and all that kind of stuff, and he runs his own business. But he's got all sorts of problems, though, because, like, he's blowing all of his money on gambling. He's, like, has a massive gambling addiction. He has a girlfriend on the side, that he's, like, cheating on his wife with, and he's just, like, every time, like, things are looking positive, he kind of goes and, like, if he gets something and makes some money or something, he ends up blowing it on these ridiculous, crazy bets that he does, and he doesn't think, and he just, like, if he screws up one bet, then he goes and bets on something else to try and get the money back, and then he's, like, owing money to all these people, and his brother-in-law, and all these kind of problems. And this, though, deals with, though, in the beginning of the movie, though, he gets this gem. This really valuable gem from Africa, and he wants to sell it to Kevin Garnett's character, who's like a basketball, playing himself in the film. And I thought he did an amazing performance in this movie. But he got this gem which he wants to sell, and it's kind of like he knows that this is going to be something. It's going to be equal a lot of money for him and will help him pay off some of his debts. But it's just kind of like I said, it's everything continuously goes wrong for him. And it's, if you guys know Good Time as well, the Safdie brothers are really, really good at making, like, super tense movies that, like, make you, like, really stressed out. You know what I mean? Like, like, they never really let up with things going, like, insanely wrong and problematic things. And also, like, the way they edit, they're really great at editing. They're really good with quick cuts, and their music as well. I really love the music in their films. But everything about this movie is, like, perfect to me. Like, this is, like, my kind of movie. It has on here, feature-wise, Money on the Street, which is the making of Uncut Gems. I believe it was, like, a 30-minute making of, which talks to, like, the Safdie brothers and the cast, talking to Adam Sandler about how they wanted him to be in the film years back when they were trying to make the movie in 2012, and then how it didn't come together, and then talking about, too, about how throughout the years when they were writing this, and then they were had to figure out who was going to be the basketball player in the movie, and then they had to, like, all this details about how to have the game work for the dates in the movie and everything. I don't know, it was a really, really interesting making of, so definitely worth checking out on here as well, the making of on this one. But if you guys have seen this one too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought, but an absolute must watch. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is another movie here which I really liked a lot, called Bombshell. And this is based on the true story about the scandal that happened at Fox News a number of years back about the head of Fox News, played by John Lithgow. And basically, though, he was doing all these terrible things. He was assaulting these women, talking to them extremely inappropriately, and basically he would, like, say, if you do this, like, these favors and stuff like that, you will get, you will become an anchor on the network, and you will be able to go up and you'll have your own show, and all these terrible things that he was doing. And Jonathan Lithgow, though, gave an amazing performance in here, playing, like, such a sleazy kind of character. He did a really great job. And this one stars, though, Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, and Margot Robbie. It's basically, though, Margot Robbie's character, though, isn't based on a real, like, news anchor, but she was based on kind of a mixture of people that, reported and, what the head of the network was doing. And they're, it's kind of a combination of them. But it's, Charlize Theron and Nicole Kidman, who were anchors, and they were basically having, Charlize Theron's character was playing, she was playing Megyn Kelly. And that's one thing about the movie, too, was the makeup. It probably has some of the top-notch makeup, like making these people, them really look like the real people that they were, basing their characters on. And it was just, like, really well done with the prosthetics and everything. But it's basically, though, all about what was going on there, and all of the, the was basically almost ruined the entire network with what was happening. And it kind of could have ended it because of the, the head of what the head was doing and everything. But it was a really, really well done film. On here, though, it has a 7-part documentary on here, talking about, like, the genesis of the film, talking about the cast, the visual look of the film, also talking with the director, as well as the makeup. Like I said, really, really great makeup on this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is, I believe this is the 4th film in the series, and this is Norm of the North, Family Vacation. And I've seen all the other Norm of the North films. It's basically Norm is from the Arctic, and he is, the king of the Arctic. And in like the one he went to, America, and he like went on an adventure. And this one though, this is after he's now become the full king, and there's going to be a big celebration where his character, as I said, he's the king of the Arctic. And in the beginning of this movie though, he's like listening to all the people who are like, live there, kind of telling all their problems, and they're going, oh, we wish things were like this, and we wish you would change this, and we wish you'd have this, and all these kind of things. And he's like, oh, I need a break, and all this stuff. And at the same time too, they're getting ready to have like this big winter jubilee celebration where he has to put his crown on the top of this ice sculpture in order for it to be like a good winter and everything. But what ends up happening though is this guy ends up stealing his crown, and he doesn't know what to do, and he needs to get his crown back because he has to put the crown on top of this sculpture. And basically, though, he doesn't want to tell his family what's happening, and they get wind that he's going to have to try and track down this guy, or the kids hear him talking about this, and they think it's going to be a family vacation. So he has to disguise this trying to track down this guy who stole the crown as a family vacation, but can't tell his family. So they're going to this one kind of like resort kind of place where it's like a theme park kind of location, and it's basically, though, Norm trying to get the crown back and figure out where this person is at the same time as going on this trip with his family and not letting them know exactly what's happening. It's definitely more for kids though, but I feel like kids really will like this movie, and it's a fun series of films, and also animation wise, it is really, really good animation. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie here called The Adventures of A.R.I, or Adventures of A.R.I, My Robot Friend, and this is basically though about this one kid who goes to where his father works, which is like a kind of a robotics kind of company. They design like, super advanced robots and stuff like that. And they designed this one robot, and things weren't going too well with it, and they weren't getting to the point where they needed to with like designing it. So they kind of scrapped the robot. But then at the robot's firm though, they need the robot back because they need to put the robot's chip into a new robot. But what ends up happening though is that when the kid is there, he's like looking around and looking out at where the father works, and he comes across the robot like in kind of the scrap bin where they're going to get rid of the robot. And he ends up sneaking the robot and taking it home and turning the robot on, and it's basically like the robot is like becomes friends with him essentially. But at the same time, the people though at the factory have to try and get back this robot because they won't need to get the robot chip in it, so they have to kind of track down where it is. So it becomes this whole big thing about them trying to get it back. But then also though it ends up something happens with the robot without spoiling anything. It becomes a whole other thing about the robot because of something that the people who are trying to track it down did. But it's another one that's definitely more for kids, but it was a very fun film here as well. And like I said, this one is called The Adventures of A.R.I, My Robot Friend. Next one here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is the Season 12 here, Ancient Aliens Season 12, Volume 2. This is another really cool show. I've watched a number of episodes of this one throughout the years, and it's basically, though, all about, like, aliens where, like, things on Earth and kind of explaining certain things that they believe could be, made by an alien. Like, kind of stuff that are, like, unexplainable, like Stonehenge and those kind of things, where it's kind of like you don't really know, like, how these things existed and how they're there, and it's kind of like, looking at them in perspective of maybe aliens had, something to do with them. This has on here 12 episodes on 2 discs. Some of the stuff on here, like I said, it has like the storming of Area 51, secrets of the expo planets, human hieroglyphics, nuclear agenda. So a bunch of different episodes on here. Like I said, 12 episodes on 2 discs here. And the next one here is from Universal. It's a movie here called Dark Waters, which stars Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway, Tim Robbins, and Bill Pullman. And this is basically, though, about Mark Ruffalo's character, who is this attorney, and he kind of looks into, like, farming kind of matters and, like, things dealing with, like, pollution and that kind of stuff, like cases and stuff that are dealing with that. And he ends up getting this call from this farmer. And he basically, the farmer, though, is like, things are going on with his, like, cows that are dying, and, like, he's feeling like that there's, like, the chemical plant nearby, DuPont Chemicals, he believes that, like, they may be, like, dumping chemicals into the water, because, like, the stream nearby, he's, like, seeing something, like, this, like, reflective kind of look to it, and he's, like, going, oh, this is chemicals, and all this kind of stuff, and it's, like, it's talking about how he thinks that there's chemicals there, and, like, and he's kind of, but then Mark Ruffalo's character knows some of these chemical companies. He knows DuPont, and they're like, oh, well, we'll look at you. You can look at the records. There's nothing there. And he's noticing that he feels like there's something is going on here. And there's some kind of cover-up. And he's trying to basically going to get to the bottom of all of this and trying to figure out exactly what is going on here. Why is this stuff happening? Why is there like people that are in the area there that are getting sick? And all these things are happening. And it's basically him trying to figure out, what is going on here. This has on here, though, some making of featurettes on here, as well as a featurette on here on the real people that this is based on. The next one here is from Warner Brothers. They sent out a free copy of this one to let you guys know this is available. This is the complete second season of the show Titans. This one is on the DC streaming network, which is where they had Swamp Thing was on there, as was Doom Patrol, which I've liked a lot of their stuff on on the streaming network, especially Doom Patrol. That was one I really liked a lot. With Titans, though, I've only seen a couple episodes of this one, so I don't know all the stuff with the characters and everything. But this is basically, though, with the the Titans characters, and like of Robin, and I don't know all the characters' names, but it's basically, though, them all together. But in this one, though, some of the characters ended up in this kind of alternate reality kind of universe, and they have to try and like find their way back. And it's also like because of like the one character Robin, when something happened to him and he's become bad, so there's like a new Robin, and he's like kind of joining the group, and until the other Robin can come back. If he comes back, if they can kind of figure out exactly what's caused him to become bad and everything. But what I like, though, too, about the DC Network shows too is they're like they're like the stuff that are on the CW shows. Essentially, though, they're different, though, because they're more R-rated, though, like with the language and stuff. There's like they don't have to edit it down for TV or anything like that. So they're much more R-rated like material with like the language and that kind of stuff in them. But on here, though, feature-wise, this has Jason Todd, Fate by fans, exploring the character's DC Universe history as it's been determined by fans who shaped his destiny. So it has a featurette on here on the character here, and also there is a episode guide in here as well that has a little thing on here talking about the episodes and that kind of stuff, as well as a digital copy on this one. Like I said, one of you guys know this one's available from Warner Bros. If you guys are a fan of the show. The next one here is from Paramount, and this is a really cool brand new 4K Steelbook here, which has a 4K, the Blu-ray, and a digital copy of Quiet Place. And this is the Mondo Steelbook here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay here, and I'll show you guys. It has a like a slipcover on here, and on the slipcover it shows a Quiet Place and has Mondo on the side, and then when you take it off, here's a look inside. But this is, I actually really like this movie. This is essentially, though, about, in the world where something had happened, and, it's, with, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski's, who are the parents of these kids, and they're surviving out in the kind of the middle of the woods. And there was like this, something had happened in the world where, people had died. And if you have to basically be super quiet because there's something out in the woods that will come for you if you make any noise, so they can't talk. They have to be quiet all the time. It's a really, really cool movie, but a really cool Steelbook here. I'll show you guys a look more inside too. Like I said, it has the 4K, the Blu-ray, as well as a digital copy of this one. But like I said, one of you guys know that this one was available, and it's definitely a very cool Mondo Steelbook here. The next one here is from Paramount as well, and this is a show that airs on Showtime. I had never seen this one before, and this is a show called The Affair, and this is the complete series here. This has on here a bunch of different, over 80 minutes of special features on this one, some featurettes on the making of the show. But this is basically, though, about the one character, he goes with his family to like a vacation for the summer, like at the kind of like by the kind of like a vacation place in this small kind of island kind of community, like where like a lighthouse is and stuff like that. It's kind of a small like actually, what was the area that they go to? I think it was somewhere in New York, I believe. But basically, though, when he's there, he meets Ruth Wilson's character, and he kind of has this like affair with her. But it's one of those shows where it kind of shows things from different perspectives at times. So you see one thing one way, and the way one character saw or perceived things, or how they remember it, and then how like, because in the show you see the characters talking to somebody like a cop or something. You're trying to figure out exactly why are they talking to this cop, what exactly is happening here. But it's definitely an interesting show here. Like I said, just started watching this one. Here's a look, though, inside. And these cases have actually been designed a little differently. At least I haven't seen ones like this, because in the past you could kind of take the stuff out. But now they're all connected together. I think they might have had ones like this before, but I've never seen ones in a while where the cases don't come out. Like, you know, they would be in like a piece, you could take the thing out, but now they're connected in here like this. And it's, like I said, it's all, all 5 seasons here of the show. The next one here is from RLJ Entertainment. This is a movie here, so I really like this a lot. It's a really, really cool movie. I like the concept. I like the masks that the killers were wearing in this. It's a movie here called The Furies. And this is like, you know, one of my favorite horror movies I've watched in a while. Like, I really like this concept of this movie. It's basically, though, about like, these girls who were kidnapped, and they wake up in these kind of like these caskets out in the middle of the woods. And then at the same time, there's these in caskets in the middle of these woods were these creatures that are wearing, or these people that are wearing like pig masks and all these really creepy masks. And these girls, though, wake up one by one, and they're trying to figure out exactly, you know, what they're doing out there, why they're out there. And these creatures or people wearing these masks are coming after them, trying to kill them. And there's like cameras everywhere. They kind of call this like Hunger Games meets, or Halloween meets Hunger Games, and it does have that kind of vibe to it, because it's like it's like a slasher but mixed with like a reality TV show, Hunger Games kind of contest thing. And it's one of those movies too, you find out more and more as it's going on about these characters and kind of like a little bit to their backstory and all this kind of stuff. But the one thing that's cool too was it's like a total throwback for like super gory like slashers. It has like a real 80s kind of vibe to this. It's an Australian film, and I feel like I've seen a lot of Australian horror movies, and they make some really, really cool horror films in Australia. But it's basically, though, like I said, it's a total throwback, super gory, kind of has vibes too, like of the Wrong Turn films mixed with Hills Have Eyes, all those kind of things in here together. But if you guys have seen this one, let me know what you guys thought, but really like this one a lot. The next one's is from 4 Digital Media, and it's a movie here that stars Michael Madsen and William Baldwin called Two Graves in the Desert. And this is basically, though, about like these two people who were like kidnapped. They like wake up, they were kidnapped, and they wake up in the back of this trunk, and they're kind of like, what are we doing back here? Why are we back here? And it's kind of like it's not all shot in the trunk, but it's kind of like a couple of those movies that were all set in like one location like that a little bit. But then you see like the people who are in the back, they're trying to figure out why they're back there, how they're going to get out, what they're doing there. But then it cuts to them having like this iPad, and they're watching the front of the truck, and it's William Baldwin and Michael Madsen's character kind of laughing, making these jokes, saying, "Oh yeah, you wish you could get out of there." And it's kind of like one of those movies when you're trying to figure out exactly, you know, how they got back there, why they're back there, why is, you know, their characters like keeping them back there, what are they planning, like the whole thing. Because when the movie starts, you see them in the very first scene, both William Baldwin and Michael Madsen's character are like digging a grave, and you kind of know, okay, something's going on here. What exactly is this? It's one of those movies where you kind of find out more about things as it goes along. But I actually really like this a lot. I thought this is a really cool concept. The next one here is from 4 Digital Media as well. This is a movie here called Don't Let Them In. And this is another one that I really liked a lot. And this is basically, though, about like these two people who do like welfare checks, like checking on people who got out of prison, or people who that need to be kind of checked up on, and things like that, if they got out of jail or they got out of like a program or those kind of things. And they're basically checking on this guy, and in the past, though, he had done some bad stuff and like really bad things, but he basically was allowed to leave. I think he left prison or left the asylum. No, he released the asylum, and he basically, though, they're going there to check up on him, make sure he's doing okay. And when they get there, though, the guy is acting really weird and in the house, and he's kind of like, oh, and like basically, though, it ends up being kind of like a movie, kind of like The Purge, where like this happens earlier on in the movie, right when they get into this house. When they're there checking, the guy's acting really strange, and you think, oh, is this going to be about this guy? But then these Purge kind of characters kind of are outside, and it's basically them in there having to work with this guy who, you know, they thought was going to be the bad guy himself because of how he was acting, and they have to work with him to kind of stop these bad characters outside, trying to stop them from getting in, and trying to figure out exactly exactly how they're going to get away and what they're going to do. But like I said, I actually really like this one. And it's like I said, this is called Don't Let Them In. And the next ones I got here are all from moviezing.com, and I have a link below where you guys can order these ones for the best price. This one here is a really, really good documentary here, really well done. It's produced by Terrence Malick, and this is Lil Peep, Everybody's Everything. And this is a documentary on Lil Peep, who passed away from a drug overdose when he was only 21. And it's basically it's a documentary talking to his mother, talking to people that he worked with, kind of all about his career, how things started, all that kind of stuff. It's really sad though, because he was a really, really talented. He started out as a SoundCloud rapper, and he did like SoundCloud like rap, like emo kind of mixture rap, and like really, really good music, and like some really great stuff that he put together. But this, like I said, is a documentary all about him. My brother is a huge fan of Lil Peep. Like, he actually got to see some of his concerts and everything. On here, though, this has a director's commentary track on here, as well as bonus interviews on this one. But like I said, one of you guys know that this one was available, and this is from Gunpowder and Sky. The next one here is from Freestyle releasing. It's a movie here called Sadistic Intentions. And this one here, the star of this one was from the film The Battery. And this is basically, though, about these two people who end up going to this house, and they're kind of like there to meet this one guy. The one girl is there to meet this guy to buy some like drugs from him. The other guy is just kind of going to see him there because he's going to be like rehearsing in their band. But it's kind of weird when they get there, though. The guy is like nowhere to be found. They can't figure out exactly where he is, and he's not there. And then like he like kind of is saying, "Oh, I'm on my way," or he like texts and say he'll be there soon. But then the guy though is acting kind of strange. He's like going like, he kind of seems like he's up to something, or he kind of knows something is going on. And it's basically though like something is being planned with this this girl who's there, and they have to keep her there. She has to stay there for one reason or another because of something that is like being planned. And it's a really interesting movie. It's a character piece though about like them and like the discussions and everything, but it's like leading up to something. Something not good is probably going to end up happening here. The next one here is from Comedy Central, and this is a series here which I never saw any of before. This is called Review the Complete Series. It's an interesting series. This aired from 2014 to 2017, and this is basically though at this guy, he's been in a bunch of character actors, been in a whole bunch of different things. Like he was in middle schools, like The Principal, and a bunch of different movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But it's essentially though about like he has like his own like review show, but he doesn't review movies or TV show or like the things you normally review. He kind of reviews like experiences or like things that he does. So he goes and like reviews like what it was like to like rob somewhere or something like that. It's like kind of like weird type of things that he reviews, and then he goes and does them. And it's it's like a scripted show and everything, but it's like done like kind of to seem real. A lot of the stuff, like he kind of goes and gets like weird jobs and stuff like that, and he kind of reviews it and gives his like take on it and kind of says like how it went and all that kind of stuff. On here, though, this has a bunch of different features. It has deleted scenes, outtakes, commentary tracks on here as well. The next ones here, these are from moviezing.com as well. And these are some they have a number of different releases in this style, and these are like double feature sets. These are from Frolic Pictures, and these are 3 different ones here that I got. And this one here has Freeway Maniac and Death Train. This one here has Death Run and Maneater, and then this one here has the Willies and Magic Island. The Willies, though, that's the one I wanted to mainly talk about. Like that's like one of those movies I've watched so many times. Michael Ray Bauer actually stars in this movie as well. And he's on YouTube and everything under Hey Bauer and everything like that. It's basically, though, like an anthology horror film. And in his one, though, he plays Gordy Belcher, this guy who loves flies and collects flies and everything. And it's basically, though, like things don't go well for Gordy Belcher because he's messing around with this like experimental growth stuff, and it's basically because he steals this stuff. It's all sort of problems. It's a really, really fun movie though. I've watched The Willies since like one of those movies I watched as a little kid. I used to always rent it at Blockbuster, and anytime like kids came over, like if a friend came over or anything, I always watched that. But what's cool about these releases is they're done kind of like a drive-in double feature where they have like trailers at the beginning, or they they have like shorts, like old school, like educational shorts and short films and stuff first. Then they have trailers, then they have the one movie, then they have some like trailers between, and they have the other movie, and they have like commercials and all that kind of stuff. So they're really cool releases here. Like I said, just want you guys to know these ones were available, and they have a number of other ones as well. This one here is from moviezing.com as well, and this is also from Syndeco, I believe that's how you say it. And this is a movie here called Demons. This is a really interesting movie, and I don't know if it was shot on film or not. It looked like it was shot on film, or at least it was aged to look like that. And it's basically, though, about this girl who's going, who's an actress who gets the job to be in this play. But it's like the director of this play, he kind of has like a history to him that he's like kind of tough to work with, and he kind of has like all these kind of methods about how to do things, and he kind of is driving people kind of crazy, like the way he acts, and he's kind of like gets crazier and crazier and weirder as things go along. And it's kind of like, is this girl going to put up with what he's doing and like not go crazy herself? And it's kind of like just like this insanity about this director and his with the cast and all the kind of stuff that's happening. But it's really well shot and everything here. And the next one I got here is from Virgil Films, and this is a documentary I just finished watching now. This is a really great documentary. This is called Scream Queen: My Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is a documentary all on actor Mark Patton, who was the star of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And this is basically, though, about his experience with the film, because if you guys didn't know, there was talk about it when the movie released, but in the more recent years, it's something you hear about a lot more, about how Nightmare on Elm Street 2 had a gay subtext. At the time, the writer of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, because there was some articles and stuff like that about that at the time, and the writer was going, well, there was a little bit of that in there, not really. Mainly the reason why people were seeing that was because of the casting, and Mark Patton was gay, and Mark Patton knew when he was reading this interview that he was talking about him and like putting the blame on him when it was clearly in the film, and the writer just didn't want to admit to what he was wrote in there. And basically, though, after this article had come out, and it all this made him decide to leave Hollywood. So he left Hollywood, stopped acting, pretty much went off the grid, and was no one knew where he was until 2010 when they were doing the documentary Never Sleep Again. They were trying to track him down and found that he was living in Mexico. And at that point, when they made that documentary, which was on all the Nightmare on Elm Street films, he kind of came back, started to go into conventions again. And this documentary, though, is all about him and Mark Patton's career, about how he started and how he started doing a lot of commercials. The second he got to started acting, he got all this commercial work and got all these acting roles and was really doing great. And then he got this lead role in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but how because of the way it was coming out like this, and he just couldn't deal with it. And it was around the time too of the AIDS crisis, and he ended up not wanting to be there for this, and like I said, totally walked away and left. And this is all about this, all about that, and about the fandom of the film as well, with him going to conventions and a reunion of the film with the cast and crew. And it's just a really well done documentary. It was all around. I really like this one a lot. And like I said, it has lots of great footage too, going to the conventions, talking to the fans, and how the film helped them as well. Some fans who are gay, and it's a really well done documentary. It would definitely be one I would recommend you guys check out. Like I said, this is called Scream Queen: My Nightmare on Elm Street. And the next ones I got here are all from Gravitas Ventures. And this one here is called Can't Kill This. This one stars the guy who was in Human Centipede 2, who was playing like Martin's, I think he was like his therapist or his doctor. He's this real like weird therapist doctor, something like that in the movie. And he's in this one. It's basically though with him and his character who's his wife, and basically they had this old friend who like years and years back had died, and they like basically it was weird, like the guy had died, but then they like saw this picture of him, and it's basically them going on this like trip to try and like track him down and find this guy who was in the picture that looked exactly like him. And it's pretty much like them going to this town and kind of like, and then it's sort of like they come across like weird wacky characters as the movie goes along. It's like a mixture of like horror elements mixed with like comedies elements, and it's also done kind of like documentary style, kind of like with them like talking to the camera and talking to people, and then people like telling about themselves and stuff like that. But it has like a whole bunch of like really crazy, because because it kind of starts off a little bit normal, and then as it builds up, it gets like more and more crazy, and weirder stuff goes on in this one. This one here is called Impossible Monsters, and this is basically though about this professor who is doing like who's a teacher who does studies on like sleep paralysis and all that kind of stuff, like, you know. And I remember like years ago, I hadn't had anything like that in a long time, but I remember back when I was really heavy, I did have like some weird sleep paralysis stuff, where that's stuff where you like can't, you know, wake up in the night or feel like you woke up and you can't move, and you hear like noises and things talking and all that kind of stuff. But basically though, this professor is doing like a study on that and talking to his students and everything, and one of his students though comes up to him and saying, oh, well, I have a really bad problem sleeping and all this kind of stuff. There's also one of the professor's friends comes to him and says how he has this art person that he represents, who's this artist who's doing really well, but he's like having a hard time getting like inspiration and stuff because he can't sleep anymore because he's having these sleep disorders going on. So basically though, he wants to have like this study with them and like sort of studying them to try and figure it out. And he also, the study that he's doing in the school, he also finds out about this big grant, and he feels like, well, if he talks to them and can maybe like prove certain things with his study, he can get this big grant for the school and stuff like that. So it's basically that. But of course though, you know that the studies, things are not going to go well, and it's kind of like what doing the study they kind of find out and what ends up happening, and it's like some crazy stuff happening. And the last one here is from Garnett's Ventures. It's a movie here called Ragdoll. This one features Dante Basco, you know, who was played Rufio in Hook, and he was also in But I'm a Cheerleader, but he's been in lots and lots of stuff throughout the years. And this one is basically about this girl who is kind of training to be a fighter, and you know, she's taking care of her mother, and her mother is really sick. She has cancer, and she is having kind of financial problems, like paying for her mother's pills and all these sort of things, and she's kind of having like a lot of problems in her life, at her work, and all sorts of things. And basically though, her one big escape is going to the gym and, you know, practicing and all that kind of stuff. And one day though, she's at the, you know, trying to get medicine for her mother, and she can't pay, and that's how she meets Dante Basco's character there, and he helps pay. And it's basically though, he's like talking to her about what she does, and she says, oh, I'm a fighter and all this kind of stuff. He's, oh, so do you fight in matches or anything? And she's like, well, just kind of small things. And he finds out though about this big fight that's going on, and he like encouraging her to do it and everything. And it's basically about that, and all about all the kind of things that are going on in her life and all the kind of problems and everything. But I thought this was actually a pretty good movie here. And the next one I got here is from Magnolia Entertainment. It's a movie here called Little Joe. This one stars Emily Beckman and Ben Wislow, you know, who's the voice of Paddington, the Paddington movies. He's been in tons and tons of movies though. It's basically though about their characters, and they both work at this kind of like kind of place where they're developing these plants, where they're supposed to be like plants that will make you happy and kind of like cure for depression and all that kind of stuff. And they're developing them so these plants will kind of let out this kind of like pheromones that they kind of you know, have come out of them that kind of will, you know, make people happy. And they're kind of developing these ones. They believe they're going to be hugely successful. But you know, Emily Beckman's character ends up bringing the plant home to her son to kind of, you know, try out the plant and see like if the son reacts well to this and everything. But what's going on though is, you know, that things are not going to go well, and these plants are kind of like starting to change people, and they're kind of like, but not in like a very not in a good way. And that's kind of like the result of what's going on here. The movie though was doing this one thing though, which was kind of like, ooh, with the sounds. When they were like showing the plants, when they were like in the faculty, like the facility and everything, they would have this weird like high pitched noise to kind of make you really uncomfortable. It was like this, but it was like whoa, this noise. They were like they kept blasting this movie a couple times. But this has on here though a Q&A here with the you know, with the actress Emily Beckman, as well as the director on this one as well. And the next one I got here is from Wellgo USA. It's a movie here called The Witch Subversion. This one though is basically though in the beginning of this movie, you see this girl, this kid who's basically, she's running away from this kind of facility. You see her escaping. You don't exactly know what's happened, but you know things have happened to some of the people that are there. They've been attacked and everything. And basically though, she's getting away, and then she comes across this family, and kind of like they rescue her, and it cuts to 10 years later. And you know, it's basically her life now after getting out of this facility is like been great. She's been doing really well and everything. But what happens though is these people who were in this facility now have tracked down and figured out exactly exactly where she is. So it's kind of her trying to get away from them. At the same time, she starts kind of figuring out more about her past and exactly why she's in this facility, exactly why is it these people are trying to come for her now. What were they waiting, or did it take her all this time to find her? But it's a really, really interesting movie here. Like I said, this is called The Witch Subversion. The next one here is from Screen Media, and I believe this is one of Rutger Hauer's last films that he made before he passed away. It's a movie here called The Sonata, and this movie kind of has vibes of like you know, like has like an old school like haunted house kind of vibe, haunted house films like in the 70s kind of feel. Also movies like The Others, that kind of feel as well. But it's basically though about this girl whose father, it was this musician, and she had not seen him basically her whole life. Ever since she was like a baby, he kind of like abandoned her and left. But he was like a really well-known musician, and she's a musician as well. And she comes to find out that her father had died, because in the beginning of the movie you see him like lighting himself on fire and everything. And you know, he lived in this mansion, had this big like castle-like mansion. And you know, basically though, she finds out about this, that he died, and she's like, well, I didn't even know he was alive anymore. And basically though, she ends up getting this castle and kind of goes there and lives there and kind of starts to discover things about her father and kind of like this piece of music that he wrote. And it's kind of like a really creepy kind of like slow burn horror film about her like trying to figure out exactly why did her father kill himself too, what exactly had happened, and like this slow build up to like, is something going to happen to her in this house, is she going to go crazy in there? But it's a really, really creepy, like I said, slow burn horror film. The next one's here. Now these ones are all Region B locked. So all these releases here, the next few I'm going to show you guys are Region B locked. So you guys have to have an all region Blu-ray player to play these ones. And this one here is from a UK release here from Second Sight Films, and this is the movie that stars, Anthony Hopkins, Ann-Margret, Burgess Meredith, and it's called Magic. This is a movie that I always really liked, and anytime I see like people that are on like America's Got Talent that are ventriloquists and ventriloquists in general, I always think of this movie. I also remember this movie too. I don't know if anybody remembers this. This is one of those movies when it came like on VHS. I remember buying a VHS one as a kid, or like, you know, maybe it was like 11 or something like that at Kmart. And some of those movies, this is like totally unrelated, but I don't know if any of you remember that, like Children of the Corn was one of the other ones, Cujo, where the movies were edited. And I have no idea why. And I remember this movie was like so strangely edited on VHS. They edited over the bad words. It was almost like a TV edit of it. Of course, this is the uncut version, but I always remember that. When I remember like that was the first way I ever saw magic, was on this VHS tape that I bought in Kmart. It was so edited. But this is basically though about Anthony Hopkins' character, who is like this ventriloquist, but he also does magic, and his whole act kind of came together when he had this dummy played by, and the dummy is called Fats, but it's like a real like rude, inappropriate dummy. Like his whole act is really inappropriate and everything, the way he talks and everything, and it's kind of become very successful. But he goes to kind of get away, because he has like a big shot at being really successful, going on these huge TV shows and everything. It will be kind of what will launch his career, but he kind of needs to think about things. So he goes back to where he grew up, and he stays at this kind of bed and breakfast kind of place. But he sees Ann-Margret's character, who he kind of had this sort of relationship with in the past, sort of. But it's kind of like things with the dummy though are starting to get like weird, and like the dummy's starting to kind of get jealous, and it's kind of like kind of going crazy. It's a really, really good movie though. It's one of those movies I feel like it's really under the radar. You don't hear about it too often. Has on here though archival interview on here with Anthony Hopkins, thing on here with cinematographer, Ann-Margret makeup tests on here, the history of ventriloquism, featurette on here, Anthony Hopkins archive radio interview, TV spots trailer, screenwriting for dummies on here, William Goldman interview. So lots and lots of features on this one. The next ones here are, I said, these are both Region B locked as well, and these are from Midnight Factory, and these are Italian releases. This is Eli Roth's History of Horror, which I really like this show. I watched this one when this aired. I believe it was on A&E is where they played this one, and there's no U.S. release of this, so I'm really glad to have a physical copy of this one. But just keep in mind it is Region B locked. And this is basically though, with Eli Roth sitting and talking with people like Stephen King and Rob Zombie, talking about horror movies and kind of like the history of horror films, and it has, each episode is one's about like zombies, and there's 2 ones on here about slasher films, talking about some of the most known slasher films. They did kind of miss talking about some stuff, but they talked about the most known ones, and there were some underrated ones you don't hear about as often. There was ones talking about possession films like The Exorcist and some of like kind of the Exorcist knockoff films, talking about creature films, vampire films. So like really cool series here. And if you guys are fans of that kind of stuff and horror movies in general, really one I would definitely recommend you guys check out. And has in here too like a booklet which has stuff about the movie, about the series and everything on this one. But like I said, really glad to have a physical release of this one, but just keep in mind though it is region B locked, so you guys have to have an all region player. This one here is region B locked as well from Midnight Factory, and this is from the Midnight Classics line. This is the Omen film collection here, and this has in here, it's a 5-disc set. This has Omen 1 through Omen 4, The Awakening. And it also has a bonus disc that has extras. The Omen, of course, is about the character of Damon, who's like the devil's son, or the devil come back to life. And kind of like these terrible things, like if you kind of cross Damien, he'll go and like, it won't be good for you. And the best scene in the first movie, though, is when they go to the animal park, and like, the animals like start attacking the car and everything. It's like, oof. These are really cool movies, though. So really glad to have this whole collection here like this. And in here, though, I'll show you guys a look inside. Like I said, it has Omen 1 through 4, and each disc here has it like in sleeves. So it has like Omen 1, Omen 2, and like I said, the discs are in here in sleeves like this. And very easy to get out, though. And then Omen 4, here's a look, though, at this one. But really well, like the way this is designed and everything. Also has back here, though, a booklet about, the production and some stills and that kind of stuff. But also, it also includes some postcard lobby cards as well. So one here for the first Omen, Omen 2, as well as Omen 3, and then Omen 4. These were like these posters, I think, these artwork, I think, were on the original like DVD releases, I believe. I remember these ones. I think I remember. I know I saw them before, these artworks on these ones, but definitely a very cool set. This one here is from a German release, and this one is region B locked as well. And I don't believe this one has a Blu-ray release in the U.S. I don't think so. And this is Suicide Kings here, and this one here has a great cast because it has Christopher Walken here. Johnny Galecki is in this one, and this one, like I said, I want to let you guys know that this one was available here, and I'll show you guys a look though inside. And this one has a Blu-ray and then as well as a DVD, and inside though has a booklet in here about the production, about the film, and all that kind of stuff. It's all in German, though. But definitely, like I said, just want to let you guys know that this one was available here. And then the last ones here are ones I just want to let you guys know are available, and these are both from Music Box Films. And it's 2 different movies here. This is the Blu-ray here of Give Me Liberty, and this one, and then the other one here, and the features on this one, it has cast and filmmaker Q&A at the New York City premiere. It has on here 16mm Russian choir performances, poster and image gallery, and as well as By the Grace of God here as well. And this one has a Q&A with the director on here, deleted scenes on here, and as well as a poster gallery. Like I said, just want you guys to know that these ones were available from Music Box Films. But anyway, though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.